It's definitely lovely to be with all of you again this morning. We just had a brief meditation, but let's just meditate for another few minutes um, so that we can align our thoughts whilst we listen to the session. So I know it must have been a long morning for you, for all of you, listening and doing stuff in the morning. But just another few moments. So allow yourself to withdraw from being action oriented. If you're doing any task, just for a few moments, please sit down and allow all your senses to slow down. Slow down. Slow down your physical senses, your feet, your arms, the energy in your shoulders. Slow down any hustle and bustle on your face. Slow down. No rush. Easy. Let your physical Let your physical body, your senses become quiet and still. Now allow all your thoughts to slow down. Slow down. And bring all your thoughts to just one point. One point. Just one thought. The thought of I am a being of peace, a being of light. And just hold on to this thought. No other distractions. If your mind is still wandering, if your senses are still not quiet, do it. Allow your senses to become quiet. Consciously do it. And the mind is just resting in this one thought. I am peace. I am light. As I rest, on this one single thought, an experience begins to emerge. Experience being the embodiment of peace, embodiment of quiet. In this peace, I am a master. All my senses are in control. In this peace, the mind has become a friend of the master. I, the soul, I, the master. As I gently come back into the physical awareness, I will hold this powerful awareness of being the master, master of my thoughts, master of my feelings, and master of my senses. Om Shanti. So, this month, many institutions and spiritual organizations are celebrating the day of yoga, because June 21st is the International Day of Yoga. I think it was 2014 that it was declared, June 21st was declared as the International Day of Yoga at the UN, United Nations. And so this month, lots of people doing programs and seminars and conducting yoga sessions to experience that yoga. But yoga is not definitely a day. Of course, it's celebrated as the International Day of Yoga, but yoga is something that is very close to our heart, actually. So one of the simple words that we can actually replace yoga, the word yoga, with is remembrance. So what is this yoga? Yoga is nothing but it's remembrance. So you are actually remembering something. So mostly in the world these days, yoga has become more for the body, right? The moment they, when people think of yoga, that means, okay, let's take a mat and let's have, some yoga exercises. So it's still yoga, but your remembrance is connected to your body. And so wherever your remembrance is, your attention is towards it. And whatever is your attention, wherever is your attention, that naturally grows. It becomes part of your life. And so today, people mostly, when they think yoga is, having healthy body and having keeping your body fit. And so all the yoga is actually towards the physical body. Many also, when they call, the Brahma Kumaris Center as one of our, main teachings is Raja Yoga meditation, Raja Yoga. And so when they call, they ask, can we bring a mat, or, what we should be doing. And so somewhere there is a shift in this yoga that, we tend to more focus on the body. So there are many types of yoga in the world, where people connect to different aspects and call it as yoga. But as today's topic, yoga for inner mastery is also called as Raj Yoga, actually. So this Raj Yoga is about remembrance of the self going inwards. Because if we see, as I just described, that, many practice yoga as an external factor of well-being, of it could be body, or connecting remembrance of nature, or connecting to breathing and all of these things, which is okay. But Raj Yoga actually takes us much more beyond that. And it takes us to the subtle aspects which we all need to actually connect to. And this remembrance, this subtle remembrance, is remembrance of my own self, where the mastery actually lies. And so one of the aspects of remembrance, as I said, is, paying attention. Remembrance, it's as simple as that. It's remembrance. Whoever you're remembering, that means you're having yoga with them. You're remembering your friends, you're having yoga with them. You're remembering a situation, you're having a yoga with that situation. You're remembering something past, you're having a yoga with that past. So yoga is like this connection that you're having. So when you're actually connected, or you're remembering something, you're experiencing that thing again and again. So you're having yoga with your waste thoughts. That's what I'm creating an experience. So um, remembrance means paying attention, right? So wherever I pay attention, my perspective towards, my perception towards begins to change. right? My attention is actually taking me towards that particular thing, and which is allowing me to see it differently, think differently, feel differently. And so we are talking about attention, but how much attention do we have? Mhm. Today, do we have 100% attention? Mhm. Even right now, as I'm sharing and you're listening, is there really 100% attention? When you sit in meditation, when you sit to have your yoga, is there 100% that attention? And so remembrance is creating that attention towards that particular thing. So where is this attention again? What is that in yoga? What is that actually I'm, um, taming, or what is that self mastery I'm experiencing? And that self mastery is mastering what the soul has. As I just said, that yoga means it's a practice of inner journey here. So, inner journey, when we talk about inner journey, where are we actually going? Inwards, where are we going? We're not going towards our breathing, we're not going towards our physical senses, we're going towards the master, which is inside this box called body. And that is the soul, the master, the powerful one who is sitting here, the one who has lots of potential. At one point it was said that we as human beings use our brains, only 10% of our brains. But recent research of neuroscientists say that we actually use 100% of our brain. Mm. We have lots of capacity that we need to still unleash. And so we are the masters as God's creation, as a soul. We are the masters, right? The soul is the master, the soul is the king. But somewhere, that sort of remembrance is lacking now. We remember so many things in the world. We remember things that are happening around us. We are all the time watching news and remembering this is happening, that is happening, or the past events. But how much are we actually paying attention to my own self as a soul, as a being? How much do I remember? So when I say how much do I remember myself, so what am I remembering about myself? My virtues, my potential, the master I am, the master creator that I am. So here I would like to actually give an example of this character named Arjuna. So in Indian mythology, in Hindu mythology actually, there is a character named Arjuna, and he was considered to be a soul who is actually mastered, a very, very smart and a brilliant soul who has actually had self mastery. And how does that, what proves that he had self mastery? There is a beautiful story in the mythology, is that once, um, so basically, Arjuna he mastered actually archery. That's his mastery. But that archery is definitely coming from mastering something inside himself. And so he was a brilliant, person who actually mastered this archery. He could even close his eyes, and with signals and sounds, he can, release his arrows, and accurately he would do it. And so he's been very much respected as a great warrior. So, in one of the stories, it's said that Arjuna, at one point, his guru, his trainer, his master, he wanted to test all his disciples or his students, how they are doing at their archery. And so he takes them to a tree, and he asked them to to notice what they're actually seeing, and if they could do the archery there. And so as each one starts to describe what they're actually seeing, and so one describes that they're seeing this entire tree, and they're seeing the sky behind the tree, and the and the blue sky and all of that. Another one says that I'm seeing the tree and I'm seeing the branches and leaves. Another one says something, another one says. So when it comes to Arjuna, Arjuna says, I am only seeing the eye of the bird. So there is a bird on the tree, and and Arjuna was only seeing the eye of the bird, and he releases the arrow. So then, his master, who is called Dronacharya, his master, then he appreciates the kind of focus and the self mastery that he has, the concentration, the attention that he has. He's not seeing the whole picture, the whole drama, but he's only seeing his own target. So, in the same way, in our life too, there are so many events and so many things happening, so many scenarios we are facing, or situations, or circumstances, or wonderful moments also. We're all facing different things in our life, experiencing different things. But where is my attention? Where is my attention? Is my attention towards the whole bigger picture? I mean, the whole drama that's going on? Am I putting my attention into every single piece? Or I'm actually having the focus and attention on what exactly I need to focus? So many times, we lose that focus, and that's what is yoga. Yoga is that remembrance of what I actually need to remember throughout the whole day, which is creating a healing effect on the soul, which is actually elevating me, which is making me powerful, which is actually making me a master, not a loser. And so throughout the day, I need to actually check myself. Where is my remembrance? Where is my attention? And that's what is my yoga. So even last 2 days, check yourself. Or since morning, it's only 11 o'clock now. So, but still from the morning, or last 2 days or 3 days, check yourself, go back. Where was your remembrance? Where was your attention? Throughout the day, what did you remember the most? And so wherever I'm paying attention, again, that's actually growing inside me. So sometimes I pay attention to, little things, unnecessary things sometimes. That unnecessary things are creating assumptions inside, that's creating worry inside, or anger inside, or disturbance inside. And so if I really want to experience that self-mastery, I need to actually bring all my thoughts. I have to withdraw my thoughts from things that are unnecessary in my life, that causes disturbance, people or situations or circumstances who cause, excuse me, that cause disturbance inside myself. Now, it's not that people and situations are causing disturbance. There is something that is inside me that's triggering inside me, that's triggering to cause that disturbance. So it's, again, if I really need to experience self-mastery, it's still not about others and situations and circumstances. It's about something inside me that needs to be shifted. I need to actually grow something inside me. I need to activate that energy inside me where I can make a shift. And, scientists talk about this activation energy. And so yoga is all about this activation energy, meaning you're activating this inner strength inside you, inner power, where I have the strength to focus on one. So they say, our brain, the way it works is that, um, somewhere it's like autopilot, meaning like, I'm the same old things I'm doing, okay, I can only do this much, I only have capacity this much. I'm not actually giving that little more extra effort. I'm not putting a little more extra effort to experience something. So we all say that I want to meditate, I'm interested in meditation, but how much time do I give to meditation? How much time do I give to things which matters in my life, which make a difference in my life? Actually, very little. We do say I have interest, but I don't give time. So there are three things. If I really want to have my remembrance towards something that is powerful, something that is healing, something that uplifts me, is that I need to have love towards it. It's not just saying I have interest, but I'm not showing that love. Now, when I have love towards something, I do spend time, right? I can't say I have so much of love, but I don't have time. How will that love work? Hmm? When I say I have love, but I can't give time, at some point that will break, right? And so when I say I have interest towards yoga, towards some kind of transformation in my life, I need to give time to it. I need to have that love towards it. When I say love towards it, recently of course I know this word, but recently I came across this word again in Hindi. It's a Hindi word. It's called haath dho ke piche padna. It's like, I hope I said it right. Haath dho ke piche padna. That's what it's like, doing something rigorously. You're not like, okay, whenever I have time. No, I will do it because I want to experience. That sort of interest I need to have. Those who know Hindi, understand this word. Haath dho ke piche padna means you are rigorously doing it. I want to really learn. I want to really experience this. I want this transformation in my life. It's not that, I want it, but when it is time, I'll do it. Oh, maybe God doesn't want it. All these excuses we start to give. And it's very easy, excuse me, it's very easy to actually put the blame on God, right? When God wants, we will do it. Hmm? This is what we say, when God wants. God wants, I will do it. No, God really wants it. He doesn't want it. He says, okay, this is the way, it's up to you. He doesn't wait, for me to do it. He'll say, this is the way, child. Want to do it? You do it. And so it's a very sweet excuse when I say, when God wants, it'll happen. Or, when there is time, it'll happen at the right time. No. If I really want to do it, I have to do it now. I have to give that time to it. So, so one is that love, and the other is that you need to have that sort of sadhana. The second thing is sadhana, meaning that sort of commitment. I really want to do it. So sadhana means every single day, every moment. Remembrance is what? You don't say, let me sit and remember, right? So let me sit and remember my son. Let me sit and remember my husband. We don't do that. It's a natural thing. It's a lifestyle. That's why yoga is not a posture that I sit and do it, but yoga is something that is a lifestyle that I naturally do it. It's in my remembrance naturally. So that's why, one is good. Yes, I take out time, I sit properly, and I do it. But it is also a natural thing that's going on. It's a natural nature of life. And so that's why Raj Yoga is called as a lifestyle. It's a practice, of course, that practice becomes my lifestyle, my natural nature. And so that sort of sadhana I need to have. I need to keep doing. And that's what Arjuna did. Arjuna did every moment. He didn't leave it. He didn't say, I'll do once a month. He didn't say, I'll do once a week. He didn't say, I can't do this. This is too hard for me. See, anything in life is like, it's actually simple to do it, but it needs effort, right? Once I know the art to do it, it is actually simple. But I need to do that sadhana to make it simple. So sadhana means giving that effort, putting that effort into it. So like they say, Arjuna was all the time, he was actually thinking about his archery. All the time. He learned, he mastered all the skills of archery. So even in dark also he could, in darkness also he could do it in every single way. And so that sort of sadhana is needed. And the third is I need to have the knowledge. If I don't know how to meditate, learn how to meditate, learn how to have this remembrance, right? It's not that I'll do my own way, because there are thousands of things in the world, which is okay. Everything has, breathing has a certain impact on the self and all of these. But if you see, most of the meditation practices or yoga practices are still I'm connecting to something physical. Still I'm connecting to body or the matter or the breathing. But I have to go beyond. And when I say master, I have to go to that master that I am. I, that soul, the powerful one, sitting right here in the center of the forehead. So I need to go beyond this matter into the subtleties. I am that subtle being. Go to yourself, because it's self mastery, and many, very few in the world, very few in the world actually go inwards and experience the soul, your own self, right? We all understand this. It's not that I have a soul, I am a soul. And so knowing my true identity, knowing and connecting to my own self means connecting to my own world, knowing myself very well, becoming really grounded. And so the first step in yoga is connecting to the master, going inwards, connecting to the self, knowing my strengths, knowing my weakness, knowing my inner world. Right? So know the language, how I need to actually do. Just sitting in a posture is not doing anything. I may sit in a posture, but then my mind is wandering everywhere. So when we talk about the self-mastery, so when I stabilize, or when I invoke this awareness, immerse this awareness of I being this master, the self, the soul, I start to become friends with my mind, my intellect, and my sanskars. So the first thing that I actually master in self-mastery, the first thing that I master is my mind. Because mind is a tricky thing, right? It doesn't sit at one place at all. Like a monkey, it's jumping all the time. All the time. And it shows least amount of interest in the things that are actually important. Even like, let me give the example of, we're all so used to eating, either like junk food and spicy food or so many other things. And then here comes the sattvic food, or or the food that is actually healthy. And sometimes you go to doctor, this problems I have, doctor will say, okay, go on this diet. Mhm. And so how difficult we feel to go on that diet. Initially, we are tempted, right, to go back to our old habits. I want to just add a little more what I used to eat. So it takes that commitment, that discipline. The mind keeps jumping back to the old. No, 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 this is the way you were. Go back to the way you were. So it's like autopilot, meaning, I'm just so used to doing those things and I feel comfortable. So it's like anything new I have to do, it's like there is an emergency brake. It's like the first thing comes into mind, this is too hard, I can't do it. It's like an emergency brake. I can't do it. I stop myself. Then I would take time, I would think, I would, all those things go on. So the mind has absolute power. The soul, of course, has the power to tame the mind and make the mind behave for sure. But for that, I need to do that sadhana. I need to give that experience again and again that I am a soul. Beyond these physical elements of this body, withdraw from this layer and go to your own self as soul. And how long can you stabilize and can look at yourself and feel that you are this light within this box called body? And so the soul who can actually allow the mind, can stabilize the mind, is experiencing that self-mastery. The mind has the tendency to either go, it's like a tape recorder, right? In those days, we used to have, tape recorders, how they worked. The tape recorder had a rewind button and a forward button. And there is a play button. So the mind is always actually rewinding something in the past. It's going in the back, or it's fast forwarding, worrying about the future. But self-mastery means the mind being in the present, meaning play button. I need to have that play button on always, meaning in the present moment, and that's self-mastery again. So a soul who is able to actually, with the practice of soul consciousness, again and again going inwards like Arjuna, go inwards and just look at that eye of the bird. That is the soul. And the more you know yourself as the master, as the king of these senses, the more you're actually creating, invoking or emerging your inner strength, inner power. Not ego. Ego comes from body consciousness. So there is a difference between ego and inner strength, inner power. So inner power doesn't mean ego. Those who have inner power have absolute control over the mind. But those who have the strength of ego, which is coming from the consciousness of physical consciousness, when I'm connecting to something that is not me, that ego is destroying. It's actually just showing, that ego is allowing my mind to always fluctuate. So ego is making my mind fluctuate. So that's why you see when there is ego, the second emotion that follows ego is anger immediately. Wherever there is ego, anger comes. How dare, how this, how that. anger comes in. So a wandering mind is a critical mind. And that critical mind is always in ego. How this, how not that? How can you say this? Taking things very personal. I'm not understanding what the importance of that particular moment or whatever it is, but I'm just coming into my own ego because I'm taking everything personal. So understanding it's like self-mastery means having absolute control over the mind. The mind is in peace. The mind is stable. The mind is like a friend to the soul. And that means power. And on the other hand, if the yoga is towards body consciousness, if the yoga is towards situations, circumstances, and whatever it is, my position, my name, all of this, then ego means no control over the mind, no power at all. And so the mind is always going into the rewind or forward. It's never in play button. So it's a weak mind. And that's why anger immediately comes, right? And so this is what happens when there is self-mastery and no self-mastery, ego and power. So yoga, that is yoga, connection to the self, the soul, the master is allowing me to act, to keep my mind in a play button, in the present moment. So when the mind is quiet and present, then that mind will not make mistakes. Otherwise, mind is always going at the wrong places and making mistakes. That mind is actually listening. That mind has the power to listen. You see, when the mind is too much wandering, I lose the important information. When the mind is just wandering here, there, that even somebody is giving me jewels of knowledge, like, some like diamonds. I don't know the value of it. I'll just throw them because I don't know what's the value of it. And the mind is always in stress. So self-mastery means the first step of self-mastery is soul consciousness, having a complete experience of your own self as a soul who is so beyond from all this matter and the potential and the virtues of the soul. Each one of us have wonderful, wonderful virtues. And so do I know my virtues? Do I know my strengths? Do I know my powers? You need to. So self-mastery is also like that king who sits on the throne, on the seat. Like when we were meditating, that 10 minutes meditation when we did in the beginning of the session, I said, sit, rest on this thought. So yoga is not just creating a bunch of thoughts. Of course, you are actually remembering, but what you're remembering is the truth that you have forgotten about your own truth. You're remembering your own truth. And so what you're doing in yoga is you're remembering that truth and you are actually allowing that truth to sit on the seat. Meaning you are stabilizing in that truth. You're not fluctuating from that truth. You're stabilizing on the truth. Just like a king, when he sits on the throne, that's his authority. That's his power. So allowing this consciousness, this awareness to sit and not fluctuate. And so then my mind is becoming my friend and also my intellect. Intellect is called buddhi, this intellect, which is also the I, the visualization. So yoga is very much taming the mind and intellect. So intellect is that eye which actually sees the subtle aspects. So the intellect is visualizing where the mind is taking me. And so when there is thought and visualization, there is an experience. So one step of this meditation is going inwards to the soul. The second step of self-mastery or yoga is going upwards. Upwards is to the source, God or divine or whatever you want to call, upwards. So that I can keep charging this battery, or I can, draw that power, that strength from the source. Because in this life, in this world, we face a lot, we are living, and every moment there is a lot going on, right? So sometimes we need that, that extra strength. And so that's why it's very important. Yoga is also remembrance of that higher power, of that beautiful one who is always stable, still, ocean of love, ocean of power, ocean of knowledge. Because you want to remember something that is higher than even you, right? And so I take my thoughts. After connecting to myself, I take my thoughts, I have my yoga with the one who is beyond, one who is source of everything the soul wants. So yoga with that supreme strength is very, very important. So remembrance. See, everyone in the world made it very hard, a tough journey, and it's also another excuse. They say that it takes a long time to experience God, or it takes long time to have a transformation in life. It doesn't actually. It doesn't. The soul has the power to do anything in 1 second. If I really want to do something, I can do it. It's true. You experiment yourself that today you really want some kind of change. Even if you think early morning hours, I'll wake up, and I'll meditate. Or this one aspect in my life, I want to shift, I want to change. It's just that one powerful thought I would have. I want to change, I want to change, that's it. So don't put that emergency brake again. I want to do, but I want to do, but, we'll sit with those, excuses of how and why and but I want to do and I will do it, and that's it. I do it. Once I remember our late administrative head was a spiritual Raj Yogi, Dadi Janki. She once said that the moment you feel I don't want to do this, meaning something you should be doing, and you feel lazy about doing, that moment, get up and do it. Don't give another chance to the mind. Don't delay. As they say, delay is dangerous. I delayed, and the power of that is gone. So I have to do it right now. So experiment, even waking up in the morning. It's good. Yoga is something that you do early morning hours. Yoga is not like, it's remembrance, of course. Throughout the day, you have that natural remembrance, but it's good. Early morning hours, you spend that remembrance, keep your remembrance really high up. Keep your remembrance, um, you know, where you can draw that strength. So early morning hours are really, really good. But early morning hours, we feel it's so hard to wake up. It's not easy. My body is like this. I can't wake up. But if you have a determined thought, I need to do this, and that's self mastery. Self mastery is no delays. Self mastery is absolute control over my physical senses too. And so self mastery is like I have a thought and I just do it. So early morning I wake up, it's, your body also gets used to no alarm, nothing. I mean, no snooze. You keep an alarm. Okay, some have the habit of they keep snoozing and it keeps going on and they're still on the bed. They're not waking up. No, I need to just tell myself 1 second, keep this mantra 1 second. The alarm rings and I'm up. Or you have to attend something that is important, or like a meditation class, or, uh, you know, um, to do something really positive for yourself. When you are in a dilemma or when you're going a little bit of lazy side, no, tell yourself 1 second, 1 second, that's it, I do it. So keep this mantra of 1 second. 1 second, I do it, and that's the power of the mind I have. And that's self mastery. In 1 second, I can take this mind away from this world to that beautiful world, that most beautiful one, who is the ocean of all powers and virtues, and give myself that experience, recharge myself powerfully. And the third aspect is, yes, in words of words. And so one of the things is that as self mastery is also taming your mind and your intellect, your visualization becomes more and more clear. In self mastery, you're able to actually see things clearly, very clear. Your third eye is absolutely clear and open. And then, in the same way, my sanskars as well, sanskars meaning my habits. Sometimes habits are the things that will make me pull back, put that emergency brake and not let me go forward. Or sanskars could be sometimes like this autopilot. Okay, this is the way I've been doing, I'll do my way. But there are some sanskars which, I want to change, but I'm just sitting there. So self mastery also means coming out of my comfort zone. I need to do something about this. So self mastery is absolute control over my old habits. Because until you change a habit, because every habit is like a deep root inside the soul. So it's deeply rooted, right? And that's why yoga is not about doing a day or two. This practice, this whole practice of inwards and upwards and outwards is not just a day or two, because until there is a complete inner cleansing and transformation, I am actually doing this practice, right? And so the sanskars meaning these old habits that sit inside me, I'm making this effort. But these sanskars are, this root is still sitting there. And sometimes it comes out. And so self mastery means, again, control over all those, control over old habits, not just control, but transformation. Because until and unless something old is sitting there, it'll definitely stink. It'll come out somewhere or the other, it'll come out. So yoga is completely finishing those sanskars. Self mastery is completely transforming the sanskars, and I don't keep any trace, name and trace of anything old. Because if there is old, then I would go back to it. And so what is that sanskars? We all deeply have inside the sanskar of fear. And self-mastery is like conquering your fear, conquering your anger. And that's what Arjuna was. Arjuna didn't fear anything. And why he didn't? Because of his practice. He had a deep faith in himself, his potential, his power, and deep faith and love for God. You know, sometimes we want a transformation, we are listening to something, we know the knowledge, but still we are not actually, somewhere there is a doubt, or somewhere I'm not actually cooperating. Say for example, I have a guru or a master or a teacher and a student, right? Teacher is telling the student, this is the way. And if the student doesn't cooperate, yes, this is the way, I will do it. If he doesn't cooperate, then the teacher wants the student to reach up here, but the student is doing his own thing. Then even the teacher can't do anything. So Arjuna always followed the directions, of the divine. Meaning, if this is the way it is, he did it. He didn't doubt. He didn't say, I'll do my way. He always listened. So listen to the divine, listen to that signals, because the divine wants all of us to, to make equal to him. Yes. Because he wants all of us to reach the divinity which is inside all of us. And that divinity is love, peace, power, self-mastery. He wants us to reach that. And so sanskars, the sanskar of fear, sanskar of doubt, all this self-mastery, the one who masters the self, his emotions are mastered. The emotion of fear is mastered. Not sure what's going to happen, no. Anger, ego is mastered. So self-mastery, this inward journey, upward journey, and then outward. Whatever I'm experiencing internally, whatever I have filled from the divine, that's what I will give to others. And this is yoga I need to actually learn. Enough of learning of connecting to external aspects. We've learned enough connecting to external. That's why we didn't reach anywhere in self-mastery. We're still juggling. But now I need to have this practice. So whatever I gain, whatever I have, I give that outwards. And so let me be that master. Let me fill myself with such power, such inner strength that I'm able to cope with what's going on externally. And that's what I'm able to give others so that I can make them equal. I can make others also equal. So that I can give that support to others as well. And so I'll pause here and open up for any questions or any comments or anything that you would like to share or say.
Thank you, sister. Beautiful class and a beautiful reminder. I love what you said about the awareness. Where the awareness is going, that's what is growing inside of us. So it's not just a practice of the morning routine, but it's something to be having that mindful awareness. That's where our traffic control really helps us, every hour. But thank you. We are very fortunate to have Saurabhai's classes and now get a little, same type of perspective, but a little different from you as well. So thank you for sharing your pearls of wisdom.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Om
Om
Shanti.
Shanti.
Thank you, sister. I really like your meditation. It took me so down and felt me so much relaxed. I really enjoy all your meditation. And today you were talking about the thing about the inner journey. We need to check the inner because whatever is inside, it's coming the outside. So you need to, means I need to constantly check on my inside, and I have a power to connect myself with the master. So whatever the activity I do and everything I do, I need to be doing with the consciousness and constantly staying on the Atmic stage and try to go towards more by the Baba's knowledge and try to change myself. Om Shanti. Thank you so much, sister.
Thank you.
Om Shanti, sister. Oh, beautiful class. Thank you so much for coming again. And I like how you said, go inside first, know yourself, get the power from above, and then just give out, help others, and be obedient. Like today's Murli Baba said, be obedient servant. Obey what Baba's instructions are. Be an instrument for him and be his helper. Love the class. Thank you so much for coming again. And
Sure.
keep on coming. Thank you.
Thank you. Sure. Mhm.
Om Shanti, sister. Thank you for this very beautiful expose. I was just thinking this inward and outward journey doesn't require any change of location, it doesn't cost anything. And yet sometimes I say I'm unable to do it because I am focusing my attention on other priorities. And it is sad to say so. The issue is to remember to remember oneself, to remember to do it. That's the difficult part, isn't it?
Can you
The
be a little louder? I can't hear you so
Yeah.
clear.
Okay, I'll repeat what I said. Thank you very much for this beautiful expose. The beauty of it all, the inward and outward journey, doesn't require any displacement. You do not need to change place. You do not need to pay. It is just a matter of a call, the call of the soul. And what I find a pity, I'm thinking about myself, I am unable to do it because involuntarily I select my priorities. That's why again Baba said, be obedient. And obedience brings victory, brings happiness, brings contentment. And I will try again, not try, I will maybe deepen my faith in what I am doing. Thank you, sister. Thanks.
Sure, obedience is definitely one of the important ingredients for sure, because many times we don't listen even when it is said this is the way. We get stuck in our own thoughts and own way of doing, as I was mentioning about the autopilot, that I'm not actually coming out and really thinking, oh gosh, this is what it's like. I'm seeing, but I'm not seeing it. It's right in front of me. I'm seeing this is the way, but I'm still blinded. I'm not seeing it. It's like sometimes we become like parrots. We sit on the same, thing, like parrot repeats, they say. So we sit on the same thought, and we are saying, yeah, this is what I have to do, but I'm not doing it. This is how it is. I'm seeing it, but I'm still not doing it. And so if you even see like the founder, Brahma Baba, he didn't have any examples, but he had to create his journey. He had to grind his own ingredients, and he had to do it. But today we have so many examples in front of us, so many people who have done it and who are doing it. But still somewhere we're still not giving that time and energy and that focus to reach there. Yes, even I want to do the same. I'm still not doing that. So yeah, sometimes I'm seeing it, but still the third eye isn't seeing it. I'm still blinded to the truth. Yeah. Anybody else would like to share? I see some nice comments. Neeraj Gupta, I think he left, I guess. It's mindful awareness and focus on target. A takeaway from me. Good, very good. Anybody else would like to share?
So a very good class, very good guidance.
Naresh bhai, yes.
So बहुत अच्छा, very good and good class, Madhir and if we increase our concentration and by increase the practice, because Baba also says a practice of sada kal ka abhyas, bahut kal ka, long practice for a long time.
Right.
So that will make us professional and intellect and skilled. So by yoga, by meditation, we increase our concentration, and by daily meditation and being in the remembrance of God and forgetting all these things which are of no use, we are really increasing our concentration. And by increasing concentration, our ability to do the jobs and our strength to discern, to decide, to cooperate, and to take a decision. And so many things we can do, and many people are doing it. And by doing practice, because आप बोले थे कि अर्जुन अंधेरे में भी बाण चलाते थे. In the dark also he was practicing archery. And he learned that from Bhima. Because Bhim was having a very huge appetite. So all the four, whatever they eat, the single one will eat the food of the fours. And in the night, He goes in the kitchen and he searches everything and he found out what he wants. Then Arjun asked him, how you are finding it in the dark? Bhima told it is a practice. Then Arjun starts practicing archery in darkness and he became perfect in that. So by making practice, we become perfect. So really nice guidance and nice guidance for we people. माधवी बहन बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद इतना समय निकाला. हाँ माधवी बहन. Yes.
I think this topic of self-mastery is definitely a powerful one. I mean, I always loved about this topic, thinking about Arjuna and the practices that Arjuna did. And, somewhere it just brings back, it reminds us that's what we have to experience as well. And that's the aim of our yoga. Thank you, Naresh Bhai. Okay, anybody else? Any last thoughts before we close?
I have a question, Sister Madhvi. Do you have any meditation commentaries on the YouTube or anywhere?
Yeah, for sure. The Queen's Brahma Kumaris YouTube channel, if you go to.
Okay.
Many meditation commentaries, but these meditation commentaries, as of now, I've created for the B case. And these meditation commentaries are longer pieces of meditation commentaries who are interested in focused yoga, who wants to go really into the depth of yoga. And so for them, it's created these meditation commentaries. They are on like, fire of yoga, fearlessness, seed stage, silence and stillness. So there are very many.
So all are listed over there, right?
Yes. If you go to Queen's Brahma Kumaris YouTube, you will find it.
Okay. Thank you so much, sister.
Thank you. So thank you all. It's lovely to be with all of you once again, and we will meet soon. Om Shanti.
Thank you very much once again. Thank you. Come again.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Beautiful session.
Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, Naresh Bhai, Rajesh Ben, Om Shanti.
Om Shanti Madhvi बहन.
ओम शांति माधवी बहन, थैंक यू वेरी मच. आपने इतना समय निकाला और इतने अच्छे क्लास करा के सबको बहुत माला माल कर दिया. थैंक यू वेरी मच.
Thank you, Rajesh.
ओम शांति.